okay? Doesn't have to always be. There's so many scenarios and stories out there, but this is just a part of it. The crushed Coke can. Did I say that right? Crushed Coke can. They feel stifled and manifesting prevented by the world around them. They have the experience of being overrun with feelings that don't seem to have any solution or any possibility of things changing. They're in the effect denying of their own power and self-worth. It came from being systematically undermined and denigrated as a child. Yeah. As I learn to express myself to become more me, I have the inner conflict of my younger self that had the experience at 3 years old. There's so much that occurred at that age that it literally has affected my health. And as I chronologically age, the chain of reaction that happens in the body starts not just to affect one thing, but many things at once. And when that occurs, then it becomes chronic, and then some things will break down, some things will not function. And literally you have built up many years of the non-resolution of the same experience. Your body's repeating it as if it's just happening again and again.
Same stuff, different day.
Exactly, and it becomes your dogma. I was thinking, Jen and I were having a conversation, I have great self-worth. Did I have it way back when? No, I was quite shy and integrated, but at the same time... Introverted. Yeah, I want to be integrated. Love that.
You were integrated into your reality, but you were introverted.
Yes, there we go. But I was at the same time thinking about something else, and that's why I said it. It was very interesting. I was told that I couldn't have kids, but yet I was scared crapless of the idea of being pregnant before I got married. And even when I got to be in my 20s, and it was, oh my God, no, there's no way I want to be pregnant without being married. And it was all of those hidden belief systems that what happens when you're pregnant without being married, all of the connotations throughout history, from religion, from society. We were just talking about, when a teenager gets pregnant, if I had gotten pregnant as a teenager, I would have been scared to death to tell my mother. Literally to the fact I probably would have ended up hurting myself or something. I couldn't imagine, and I'm so glad I couldn't go there, but I created all of these stressors that were in my body. And yet, there are some parents that are very loving. What made me think my mother wouldn't be loving? Well, it boiled down to the fact is that when my mother had 5 kids at the time, she had a total of 6, but my dad was not a very healthy man, and one of the things he did was a physical abuse. And so it was, why didn't my mother protect me from that? Or it wouldn't even have to be that. It could have been...
No, when you say physical abuse, like spankings and things like that.
All negative stuff about
all
that.
that
Physical
stuff.
hurt.
The
Okay.
yelling, the
Everything.
hitting, okay.
You're talking about everything. My mother never had the ability to help process this. And being young as I was, she had to go out of the household and work, because you have to feed all these kids and all of these other things happening. And it's like, why wasn't my mother there for me? Now, she was a great mom. She was there for me the best she could. I don't blame my mother for anything. It is the way my soul wanted to set it up. But what I want to point to you was that there was a part of me that felt, well, if she's not there for me, okay, where am I going with Jen? Because you've also had the similar situation where, well, why should I trust? Why do I support?
What I do
Right, because there was one particular moment where I needed her to be there for me.
Particular moment.
There was a particular moment,
Even
because
in my life.
my sister was just the bully, and I'm not blaming or anything like that, because these are great people. This is just how it happened when I was younger. There was that bully energy, and I knew that I was just done for that's a nice phrase, but
you're not
protected. But for my childhood, and I wanted my mom to help me, and she just said, you girls have to figure it out yourselves, take it outside, and work it out. At that moment, I knew my mom was not there for me. And at that moment when I needed her the most.
Yeah. If kids are twins, it's all right because you get a chance. But when you're a lot littler than the other one, you got no chance of fighting them off from that. And they're going to
And what happens to your power and your self-worth? It gets crushed.
And then if they feel abused from a parent or something, they'll take it out on you. Oh, look, the bigger parent's taking it out on me, I'm going to take it out on somebody smaller than me.
Yeah, because you had a similar situation like she did.
Right, and my sister she had the PR scheme going on that she could do whatever she wanted, but if she diverted the attention that I was doing something wrong, the attention all went over there, and she just knew how to use the words to manipulate every single situation where you were just like, oh, I just don't want to handle it. And so from that, when I wanted her to be there for me at that moment, and knowing that she wasn't, from that point on, I knew in my head that when you talk about writing down, the program was, she is not there for me.
Right.
Now, she has done amazing things in my life for me, to offer support, to give me love, to provide, to do everything, constant reassurance. Even now when, her youngest is approaching 40, she's still there, yes, you're cute and you're adorable and getting out in the world and doing all that stuff. But it's still like, the program that I'm healing this so that I can accept it, because at this point in time, because of that decision from back then, I can't believe it.
I love the fact that how you explained about how that one particular moment your mother wasn't there. And that's exactly what happened to me. And we were just talking about how teenagers get pregnant and how I became so afraid of, I can never do that. Where did I get that from? There was one particular moment, and I couldn't tell you when. I probably could take, and because of my soul coaching, I can go back to a particular moment. We can even do it muscle testing. Let's find out. It was inside the womb at birth, 1 to 5. 5. Oh, at 5 years old. And there's a lot of things that happened at 5. So if I have watched my mother react to maybe my sister of a particular behavior, I'm going to write, don't ever do that, because I really wanted my mother's love. And I had the right and wrong factor that I played. So in my little manual for living, I would be like, oh my God, don't do that, because I don't want my mother mad. So again, why was it I was so afraid of, giving birth or being pregnant at 16? And it's because I think I've watched some reactions that said bad things can occur or somebody's not going to like you. And, it becomes some of those hidden factors in the world, because how do people view teenage pregnancy way back when? I watched a lot of shows where they would just kill the baby, and they would abandon it, and because they didn't want their parents to know. And then some kids got away with it by wearing big clothes and then giving birth somewhere without anybody knowing it. Or you send the child away, oh, they just moved, they're on vacation in Paris, or they went to school abroad. Just whatever it is, there was always this shame and guilt. Well, what is today's society like? Well, first of all, you want to give your child all the love that you possibly can. But if that child is going to do something that's going to cause them to be pregnant, most of these kids don't have to be anything other than it just happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. And we got talking about some teenagers. How does that help other ones? Talk about it. How you want to support the child, but then if you're celebrating this thing that happens, what kind of
message does that send?
Exactly. Well, this is where it becomes confusing. Just like with allergies, it becomes confusing, because what about their self-worth? What about the undermining? I had many things that undermined me to make me feel like I wasn't loved. Jen, why don't you go on and read the couple other things that we found in this book?
Okay, up against the wall. They are having an overreaction to felt threats to their well-being, to something hostile to their welfare.
Oh.
They are engaged in on-the-edge functioning due to severe emotional difficulties. They are dominated by anxiety, suppressed emotions, and or generalized dread. And I read that very cheerfully.
Yeah, I noticed. What stuck out, Jen?
Different words.
Many different words, but it became familiarized.
They're dominated by anxiety. I know what that feels like.
And if you hear this familiarity, like she just said, dominating by anxiety, you can use the meridian tapping. Even though I feel that domination of anxiety, I deeply include love and accept myself. So there is always a tool to help you, so you don't have to create an allergic reaction, or you don't have to go into that response. You literally can just start tapping your meridians, even when you start feeling like there's a cold coming on. Go ahead, Jen.
They have a deep-seated fear of letting other people know what they are experiencing or who they are. They feel threatened and they fear loss, so they take a rejecting first approach.
Ah, rejecting first approach.
Oh, I'm going to bail out on you before you bail out on me.
Yeah, and it's not all that good, especially when you do it not with people, but with just the daily living of life. If you've got obligations that you know you need to be taking responsibility for, and you decide, oh, you know what, I have the right to leave, and then all of a sudden it just follows you. It doesn't help, does it, Jen? No.
No.
Eventually it's going to keep going, hello, hello, are you listening?
Hello.
I'm still here.
Hi, knock knock penny, knock knock penny.
Alright, what else does it say?
They are dominated by anxiety, suppressed emotions, and generalized dread. There is a profound level of fear about having to participate fully in life or about potential annihilation. They have an intense distrust of letting something or someone inside their boundaries. They are the product of a frighteningly dysfunctional and invasive family which you could never tell when the next piece of shit was coming off the wall. You just knew it would.
Does that sound familiar at all to you?
Yes!
It says that in there, huh?
I'm reading words
Yeah,
off this page.
Yeah.
Black
Oh.
ink on white paper.
So, see, it gives her the right to say the word shit.
Okay.
It happens according to Forrest Gump.
Yes, it happens. Okay, so I'm going to read the next one, and it's about suppressed rage. And this is interesting because I did not like the rage of people, and I didn't like how the vibration caused me to feel like rage. Suppressed rage. There was repressing rather strong anger and aggressive reactions. Did you want to bite somebody's head off, but because you know the law, thank God they're safe? I think I said that wrong, didn't I? I know you weren't paying attention.
I was figuring something out.
You sounded right.
Did it sound right?
Yeah, I think so.
You're lucky there's a law, because if I didn't repress this rage, you wouldn't be here. That's what I would say.
Oh, the same reason why I was not given the gift of telekinesis in this
Yeah,
lifetime.
you did the big kaboof.
because of my sister.
Oh yeah, you'd all be
I was
blown to
protected.
pieces.
Take that, genius.
There is an irritation reaction to life. I'll tell you, my physical body literally sits there and feels like I started to become sick a couple years ago, and it was because my husband was resenting me and resenting my behavior, and I could literally feel it, that my body started to become sick. And it was so hard to be around somebody you love when you know that their only reaction is that they resent you.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
And so I was carrying it and trying to repress the fact that I just wanted them to stop, and they just wouldn't stop. Okay, and let's see, it says their irritation, reaction to life, and their reaction to people instead of interacting with them. I tried my best to interact with him, but he couldn't hear me. We were out of sync. And this is about when you heal these issues, you learn to create a relationship to become back in sync. My husband didn't even know he was doing it. And I said, okay, we need to look at how deep this emotion sits there. And yes, you can be right. Yes, you can blame me. Yes, I don't care. But let's get into the story of how you know. And when he started to release it, it made a big difference, didn't it, Scott?
To start unraveling it.
Yes, and we didn't just talk about it. You need to actually have some type of a resolution, a tapping, a healing, something to help you. Because you have to get rid of those chemical peptides that build up. Okay, who are you really allergic to ends up being the question.
Oh, I got a long list.
I'm allergic to bullshit, for one.
Correct. For starters, that's at the top of the list.
They are laboring under the effects of an unresolved aggravation or irritation from being in childhood. Yes, I always had to behave. I was always irritated by how my sister's ignorance, at least that's the way I looked at it. And yet, I am now in company of great friends that have that rebellious same energy, and I get to view it from a different point of view. It's to the point where it's like, oh. But as a child, I'd get so angry because she was taking all the attention away from us. She got it all from Mom.
The spotlight was on her.
24/7. I don't even know what my mother's hugs are because my mother never had time for any of this. So I had a lot to, and I loved my sisters and brothers, and you know, you'd get to find out later on that they didn't like you. You're like, why? Because you're the baby. You know,
You were the cute one.
well, they were the first one that was a test tube, you know, or not test tube, but they were tested, you know, they were the ones that had to take it.
Test subjects.
Yes, test
Test
subjects.
subjects.
That's the word I'm trying to come up with. This is what makes this show important, because watch for things that slip out of Brenda's mouth. They are the product of an intensely enraged, dysfunctional family, which constantly subjected them to intolerable and can't even say that word.
And insoluble
Situations.
There was no solution.
And that's why I think I am so much into, let's get a solution. I'm tired of this BS. I'm done. And if you're tired of BS, remember it's not the bullshit as much as it's the belief system. So you really can change that belief system. And then the BS actually will stop, which is the bullshit. What are you all giggling about?
Nothing. Just writing down some quotes by you,
Oh,
Jen.
great. My husband says that in about 10 years or 5,
I'll have Medicine Women's greatest quotes.
or Medicine Woman reveals
Out of-
greatest quotes.
out
Out
of
of
con-
text,
out of
out of
con-
content.
Out of context.
Oh, whatever the point
Not
is.
text or contents.
Well,
but
why don't you say a
context.
few of them already?
No.
Oh,
Why give a spoiler?
Yes.
You gotta make them want to buy the book.
Exactly. Oh, that's
It's
right.
the
This is a
crap
teaser.
that we say.
And what do they really mean? What's a hidden meaning?
So, yeah, the hidden meaning.
Sometimes
Very
it's not so
funny.
hidden.
No. So, it's important to understand that now, if you're going to go into that an allergy is how you marked that moment, and your life force is like going, oh my God, I could not resolve this. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? I don't get this. And that's all what it boils under. And you keep going through, doing your best, saying, I know I can resolve this. I think I've done it once. I'm going to keep doing this. And the same story keeps coming up in your face, because what did we learn as children when there was some form of abuse and we continuously was controlled by that? You could never run from it. You then keep carrying it forward as the adult. And I know that as a child I said, okay, that's it, I'm done. I will not be like the rest of my family. I made different choices, just like they could make different choices. I just didn't want to have the same story, the same history. I didn't deny it. I just said I'm done being controlled by it. And so I took the avenue of literally saying I'm that's it. I'm done. And literally take care of it. What kind of allergies? Sinus allergies? Which ones are the commonest ones? Does anybody have a common allergy that they would like me to look up? I can do
Like
so in this
hay
book.
fever or something.
Hay fever. Well, let's just see. Sometimes, this man has amazing things.
I'm allergic to hay.
And I
Really?
get a fever. Okay. Let's see.
Hey! I'm not that
Okay.
allergic.
Have
Hey.
you found anything?
No. Can I just pass it?
Okay,
Well, dibby-dabba-doo, you can read too.
Yeah, but
dokie dokie doo. Okay, hay fever. Woe is me.
Whoa.
Whoa.
They are suffering from emotional congestion. They are hung up in the hurts of the past in the form of chronic grief.
Hurts, H-E-R-T-Z.
H-U-R-T.
But hurts, I'm glad you say it that way, because this emotional hurt is actually created in the frequency of
We just
H-E-R-T-Z.
interrupted her reading.
Oh, okay.
That's
Is
why,
that...
That's why she's glaring.
Am I glaring?
Are you
No,
glaring?
no.
You're glowing.
I'm
Oh,
glowing.
maybe you're glowing.
I
Misinterpretation.
was just
Ah,
listening to what you guys
chemicals. Okay, we'll look at that one too, but keep
Okay.
going.
They believe that time is passing them by and that things are only going to get worse. They feel unsafe and unloved, yet they don't feel they have the right to release their grief and sorrow, so they repress it and they suppress their tears. This all arose out of a shame-inducing and punitive family.
Interesting. How about the next one on Hafer? It says resentment rage. They are plagued with the effects of their repressed anger and desires for aggression. See, I could never act out because I didn't like it, so I repressed Well, I guess if you talk to my one sister, she'd say, "Oh, you didn't hide it. You got the pan out and hit me in the head. How could you call that hiding it?" I think at one point I didn't like her calling me that I was mean, so I learned to repress
Okay,
that.
I'm not mean, bang.
Okay, now I'll stop. From this point on,
Yes,
I'm no longer mean. I got it out.
Yeah, I looked at you and I said you in pain. Oh, I don't think that was right. But it felt good at the time. So they want revenge for all the pain they have experienced, but they deeply fear the implications and ramifications should they have ever react on this. They come in from the, what is that word?
Virulently.
And
That's easy for me to say.
See, it's right there.
It's not even a word.
Virulently.
It's like a
think they
viral,
made
but
it
I'm
up.
relentless. Okay, so virulently, but subtly an evasive and abusive family in which to do or say anything about what is happening would have to lead to a disaster result. Oh my God, yes, that is absolutely true. Okay, so we're not going to read all these except for the the lines. What does that one say?
Persecution trip.
Oh, the guilt grabbing
Oh, I'd like some.
and seasoned
So what says?
fearing. So
So we'll.
what we're going to do is, you have to remember that you're talking about a sensory system. I will get into that. But Jen will talk about chemical.
Okay, yeah, so some of the questions from the chat room, because the people who are listening may not be in the chat room. So there's scented stuff, bleach, fabric softeners, evergreen, so just the sense of smell, the allergic smell.
Yeah, for me, it's the chemical sensitivity,
There's
is
something
that it's
in that.
unseen, is coming your way. I cannot have to smell anything, but if I'm not processing it through my nose, and I still can't process it, I don't like it, and I haven't closed your on that, it'll actually go into my lung. I will actually start to breathe it and give a lung reaction before I even create another reaction in my nose. So when you're too chemical, it's usually, for me, everything I've learned about it is that it's coming from out of nowhere. It is in the air, it is in a vibration, and it's going to attack, and that is part of the fight, flight, freeze of survival.
What we were talking about earlier when you were saying, oh, well, when you had something physical, the doctor said it's this, it's physical. It's like, oh, yes, okay, I can identify. Because we're talking about seen versus unseen, and it is. It's that unseen threat that comes at us.
Because it's a form of a belief that we can't process, and it's usually what's in the air in the moment. Like, I'll have cigarette smoke, that bothers me because that ends up being, and then create a reaction here, is because my family smoked. And then there is fireplace smoke, which got me because I remember being yelled at as we were creating fire, and the smell was backed up in the room, and everybody was fighting. So aggravation. So as soon as I smell it, my body thinks, oh my God, watch out, there's a fight that's going to happen, if anything's going to happen right now. And it's all personalized, and that is what's important to understand, and this is what we'll get into even more. But we're going to give you the basis right now.
So starting just with chemical poisoning, so polluted environment, they're being invaded and permeated by damaging influences in their surroundings. They are being subjected to intolerable inputs and experiences. It is a repetition of their early environment where their dysfunctional family imposed a poisonous atmosphere and contaminated support systems. It is a message to them to the effect of don't pollute yourself anymore.
Okay, and then as far as the nose problem, the one thing we're going to do is just kind of pick a few things, and one of them is
fraud feelings. They're very prone to humiliation and shame, and they tend to feel any honors they receive are for little achievement. They don't recognize themselves or give themselves credit for their inherent capabilities and integrity. They are notably lacking in self-pride. They are also sexually ashamed and inhibited. It is the result of having been subjected to systematic self-distrust induction by a hyper-rationalistic, denial-dominated, confidence-undermining, and sexploitive dysfunctional family.
And just to say, the feelings is that you don't believe them. You had a relationship where you needed to cope with this particular situation. You turned to a human being and said, help. They said, go figure it out yourself. Then what happened was is that because you couldn't make this overpowering hierarchy of authority, of pain coming at you, you couldn't stop it, you couldn't process it, you couldn't ask for help.
I had to endure it.
What will happen later on is that the same person that then starts to, we were laughing about this yesterday, they were blowing smoke up her knickers, because what was happening is that they were saying very loving, oh yeah, Jen, blah, 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 being nice.
Oh, you're not to blame, because I was asking a specific question about something from childhood, because we're investigating, and I'm lucky enough to be able to go to the source and ask these questions. And then it's like, oh, yeah, it's not your fault, and you're adorable and lovable, and I don't know what else they said.
But they were proud of her and everything else. Well, see, the reason she don't remember is because she don't trust them. She developed that it doesn't matter what you say, I know that you're not there for me. Even though you can look through the history and they've been there for her almost every time except for that one particular moment. And all the active recovery of that one moment will never fit because she hasn't resolved that one moment. Now, personally, we said, now you can keep looking for allergens and stuff in this book.
Okay, so the bleach.
But what we're going to do is we're going to know, now you don't have to taste the bleach. As I said, they're very personally specific.
Fascinating.
My husband is allergic to Swab shampoo and some laundry soaps.
Make me break out real bad.
And what will happen?
I was never that way as a kid. I think they changed the formulas in recent years, and these things are, who knows what chemicals are in them.
True, that you build the intolerance. But what it is that your body part that was supposed to do the job no longer can do it because it's overwhelmed, and your body's going, oh my God, because of that overwhelm, it's going to blame a particular substance. In this case, what I had found out about my husband, it was that he's allergic to, I can't remember if it was laundry soap in the arm. Okay. So he is allergic to certain laundry soap, yes. And is it because, it was a certain age? Yes, inside the womb at birth, 1 to 5, 5, 4, 3 years old. At 3 years old, hold your arm up. And so at 3 years old, and is there a specific organ to why he's having this allergic reaction? Yes. So we'll go lung, thyroid, heart, liver, gallbladder, stomach. The stomach is that it's the great alarm system. It's already saying I can't tolerate this. And so it becomes a self-punishment? No. Is it because of stifled nervousness, despair? No. Fleeing, is it anything there? It goes into lung, thyroid, heart, liver, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, spleen. Something's going to be attacked. So at 3 years old, you were being attacked by your brother. And you had smelt this chemical, this laundry soap, this particular thing, and it has now caused an irritation. And so every time he's around it, his body immediately says, okay, no other part is going to take care of it. The triple warmer, which is the army, is going to jump up and it's going to fight, and it's going to protect itself because he couldn't protect himself at 3, so he's going to protect himself from his brother. And that needs to be healed. Yes, lung, thyroid, heart, liver, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, spleen, kidney. So it's about the thinking process? No, bad memory. So we'd have to help you heal some bad memories. Well, what happened at 3?
Oh, I imagine lots of things.
Okay, just think about your body parts, if anything that got hurt, anything particular? Okay, we don't have to talk about it. Okay, that's fine. Again, you have the option of not talking about it, but you are fully aware that something bad occurred.
Injured, we'll say.
You were injured at 3 years old.
2 or 3, I don't remember.
Well, your body remembers it is closer to 3, and it's all the chain reaction of events. So now we're going to take.
So the
just pick
bleach
one.
also does burn her really bad to the point it blisters her.
Okay, so I'm going to have this person that said this to focus for just 1 second on this particular person, and there we go. It's related to bullying. Okay, so I'm going to use Jen as the surrogate. So again, you can watch these videos. So as I'm thinking about this, lung, thyroid, heart, liver. So it's a bullying energy that's come in. And this is from a past life, not necessarily was it seen in this life? No, but it has come up as an allergen. So it's that caudus nucleus about the fear. Is it a certain signature that she runs in the family? No. In this case, it's a signature to bleach. So you can have signatures from different behaviors and show up in different chemicals as well. And what is the reasoning? Because besides the bullying, is there anything else you want to tell us? Yes, lung, thyroid, heart. I don't want to take it anymore. I'm done. I don't even want to be reminded, because what happens is that if it's in the heart meridian, when it comes up in this, what will happen is simply the heart will just say, no, I don't want to do it. And you don't get a say in any of this. It just that you will then have to. The thing it needs to resolve so that this can stop is there's several things, but what is the particular thing? Lung, thyroid, heart, liver, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, spleen, kidney, small intestine, large intestine, reproductive, and bladder. It's the bladder. It's the paralyzed will. That would make sense. Paralyzed will. Will is that volition to move forward. It is your free will to do what you need to do. And there was a specific incident that says that the free will was stunted. It was bullied. It was taken away. And the hierarchy had come in and taken that a chance to survive, to be safe. And in this case, they've shown me a particular past life that, excuse me, makes a little bit of sense here. Okay, we're going to find it, and I think we're going to have Jen as soon as her hands are free, because you're still carrying that frequency, I can see it, and I'm going to have you pick a card. So, get back into that, and this past life is one thing that's causing why bleach happens to be a really big issue. Alright. And it is, well, it's hard to tell you what it is. So 19, that doesn't tell you much, but if we can find it here, can you see it, Scott?
Yeah, it's on the page. Should be right.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
A Greek painting, Love is Reason. It's Greece. It's 323 through 146 BC. The planet is Mercury. Reason and logic. The traits, refined and inventive. There is an active intelligence which chooses to weigh and debate ideas. Love of truth, found through reason and logic. High strung of nerves or nervousness. Can be cool and distant. Strong, what is that word?
Oratory.
Or verbal skills. A heightened sense of body awareness, agile both physically and mentally, and questions and curious mind. Now hold your arm up. This is this person, and what energy are they running against? Okay, so rest your arm for that. We have to look at what frequency is really another particular past life. So they're basically going to bump into the signature as a chemical, but which particular past life frequency is causing all of this allergic reactions. And the drum roll, what do we have? Saying error.
Same card.
Same card.
That's
So
weird.
it's within herself, this person's self, because it is basically, you know, there's more details, heavier details, and if we got time, I will read it. And if we don't have time, then I won't. But just to let you know, there are certain things that needs to be resolved, and the main thing that I would say to help this person is to understand about bullying, whether they need to bully, where they're getting bullied, but it's about the idea of what bulliness is. Bullying can be just as instilling fear with behaviors and rules. If you don't clean your room, you're going to get in trouble. Okay? That is a form of bullying parenting. Oh, you're voting for that president or that person? What do you know, you don't say it, but there's an implied intention behind it. That's a form of bullying. What else? Is there anything else that you can give the examples of? It's the very subtleties of being a bully, like my...
Get your hand off the stove!
Yeah, oh, yes. Now, here's the other thing.
But that's a safety thing, but it's still a form of bullying.
I would have...
It's to some degree, it's panic-driven from the parent or adult or that kind of thing, but the kid is like, ah!
Exactly. Another thing was simply how somebody would just go up to me and go, why are you wearing your hair like that? And then instantly I would go into, oh my God, and then I'd want to change it, and it became a natural reaction. So if there is this, because it became a chemical form, then it's almost as if you have no resources to fight against it. It's like you've already lost. So I would have to say we'd want to heal. We'd have to check, but let me have your arm. And again, focus one more time. So does this person have the will to survive this particular energy? No. So we would have to reclaim that. So we would have to help this person heal that they have the will to survive this issue. Okay? But finding where bullying is, but giving them the process to process it out. My daughter was watching stuff in school. It's not that she was being bullied, but the energy in the space was bullying her to the point that her body, her spine, was not forming correctly, and her muscles would not hold the spine in place.
Just deteriorating.
And it simply was just because it was the energy of the school, but it was a bullying feeling. And I said, okay, honey, I have to help you process this because your body don't know what to do with all this chemical peptides. It does not know what to do when you have all of this energy from school. So literally she learned how to use meridian tapping, and she had to zero it in on, like for instance, it would be an energy from a specific look from somebody. So then she started to tap it out. She literally has to learn that she can process and have the ability to not just survive but thrive in that and actually create a different reaction to the whole story. To be allergic to certain things, we can, if you're in the chat room, I can give you an individual reading, and then it becomes more personalized to why something is your way and happening for you and things that you need to resolve. We have posted up on to the chat room, and we'll post it on to the video as long as Jen reminds me, that
The Anachronistic Cookbook
yes,
group that's on Facebook.
and one of my friends in the group that we have, the Emotional Freedom Tech, the Empowerment Through Enlightenment group, we had these people says, you know what, we probably should do that kind of a cookbook, and so we have, and you'll see my face in there quite a bit because I posted a lot of things. But it's a lot of home survival remedies and things like this that are important that we can do and help with one another. So there was something in the room?
We've got two.
Okay, so give me one.
We'll go with Misty first, saying being allergic to fabric softener.
Okay, so now I'm just going to focus on that frequency. Why is there an allergic reaction to fabric softener? They're saying about 6 years old. The sound, so it is about the sensory system sound and the freeze mode. And so all I'm hearing is sound-wise, I feel like there was fighting going on and something occurred and you were actually smelling something at the time. Now smelling, let me explain this also. Smelling is about bonding. When you are first born, you start rooting around looking for milk, a way to survive, and it is also a bonding moment that the mother makes a chemical in her brain and the child makes a chemical, and then there's a bonding situation. You make bonding situations with people and signatures, and if you don't feel that bond, you will feel not safe. So the smell at this point is also saying when you hear certain things going on, your smell or your trigger to fabric softener is, oh my God, I'm going to go back, and you're hurling yourself back to the age of 6. Now, the particular thing that they're pointing out about this is that it was the awkward stage of trying to figure out how to fit in. So there was an awkward stage. So the fabric softener, it keeps going back to awkwardness. Is there any past life thing? No. Yes, gotta find it. Relationships. So this is about relationships. Okay, so Jen, if you would be so kind.
The awkward, I wonder if it was around the age period, assuming this person learned how to do their own laundry, and that's also some of the time when, like, I remember learning how to do my own laundry, like, when I was in 6th, 7th grade. And that's an awkward time period.
Here's also what they showed me. It was that the fabric softener was on a stuffed animal.
Ah.
and when you're clinging to it to protect yourself, a safety on something. Because they just showed me the fluffy bear, and then the child going, but having, being petrified at that point, and you're smelling, you will actually...
You're programming yourself.
Exactly. And now I'm going to ask, is there anything else specific? We're looking for at least 2 cards from what I can feel. Maybe 1 from there and 1 from here. I will grab this one. Actually, I'll have Scott go ahead and pick one. Okay. So the particular thing is that Jen and I will interpret it in just a second. The one card we picked was from the Enchanted Map, and it was number 23, and it was the Golden Palace, which is, blah, 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 wait for it. Aha! There is always enough. Interesting. It says the Golden Palace card represents good fortune, ambition, fulfilled wealth, and prosperity. It may also indicate emotional fulfillment, as perhaps you're entering a time of happiness that's long overdue. The message here is that self-worth isn't measured by what you have, no matter how much abundant your life is. Instead, it comes from what you are, how authentic you're living your life, and how much love you're willing to share. Granted, receiving this card does indicate material gain and a further of tangible rewards, but things come and go, and knowing your true value leads to even greater riches. Now, share the wealth. Now, it's interesting, my stomach is going absolutely positively and
mine
nuts.
is just like...
And so, what I'm getting at is that your joy, yes, well, it's also the connection to the joy and what you're worth. Somehow, this awkwardness is within yourself, with other people, within yourself, because the
reconciliation.
Yeah, this card is up and reversed, and they're saying it's the relationship. It's that lack of communication of receiving a good life. It's that awkwardness. The only picture I can say is, okay, so the first time you're with a man or a woman, well, I don't know about a man, but from a woman's perspective, that's what I'm going to give you, is the picture they're showing me in the head, is that all of a sudden you're getting ready to be intimate, and there's that awkward moment. You really don't know, okay, you're supposed to kiss, I don't know if I'm ready to take my clothes off, and you're not sure what the next proceeding step is. So then it builds up this, not a fun thing, but a very sick feeling.
Right, a panic-driven, like, oh
Exactly.
my God, it's that performance anxiety.
Yes, and so there's a part that I feel like you just, okay, I don't want that to happen again, so you don't want to really be put in that situation. So there's that relationship within the self. That awkwardness seems to rule whether you receive abundance. So you might have been a kid that had a great abundance, and then as soon as somebody else found out you had more than they had, then it's like you were made to feel crappy. Shame or guilt. And I wish they could actually comment back, because I never know exactly where Spirit wants to go with this, but these are the pictures, these are the images that are happening, but it goes into the how do I function in relationship to the earth or to people. Yeah, again, I'm going back into, let's notice how I don't really know how to talk to myself. That's an interesting way to get there. But it's about the scent, because it should smell pretty. No, you should be ashamed that you smell good, or you have this. That's what it feels like. It almost feels like you have to fight for the right of having something. And so fabric sheets are a reminder of a particular fight. It's like having a mom and dad fight over the fact, you're always asking for too much, type things. See, okay, I'm horrible at starting relationships. And see, that is, it's that awkwardness, it's that beginning moment that really, really, it's hard to do it. Okay, does this make sense? Okay.
So we'll see.
I feel like I'm supposed to be done with that to some degree. If you're going to heal that awkwardness or terrible of starting relationships, the horrible, how you know it, it is that part of that anxiety. There goes my stomach again. Excuse me. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, my body is reacting in an interesting way. Your body is going all over the place. The main thing I'm going to tell you to do is the healing tool, which we don't have it up on the site yet, but is to place your hand on your forehead and your hairline and just breathe through it. And you probably will have some body issues, maybe some excess gas or nausea or things, but placing your hand on your hairline, your forehead, and keeping it there until that number that you're going to give that intensity and the color you're going to give that intensity, and it goes down. We want it to 0. We want it to be clear or white. So just allow it to go down. And you really need to keep your hand there until it just, because your reality, your frontal lobe that creates your reality over and over, if you can learn that you don't have to go into a panic or go into that awkwardness, that while you're engaging in something as simply as wanting to start a relationship, then your body won't have to fight against you. You will actually be able to bring the blood back up to your forebrain, have a communication with somebody without going blah, 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 you know, or however it is that you react when it comes to it.
Okay, Octarine was talking about the mold and mildew, and then we've got somebody who wanted a reading.
Okay, so as far as Octarine goes, we can help Octarine because Octarine has always been loyally with us, and I will probably just type her, write her, call her, or do something, you know, about mold and mildew.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll give the person a reading.
Yeah, so
because I figured she would say, "Oh no, let me."
so this person is really stressed out.
Okay, and that's it.
My mind is stressed out.
Okay, when
So-
you're stressed, which we were talking about, 80% of the blood leaves your forebrain, and then you can't create a healthy relation or reality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into something specific. We're going to need these cards.
Okay.
Right now, as far as drain,
So it's my ear just started.
it's totally draining. There's just this complete drain. I'm serious
Like
because
an energy drain or what?
Yeah, all of a
it's-
sudden I feel I'm literally going down the drain.
Yes, and it feels like it's mortification is what I call it, is because what's happening is you really feel your strength just go blah, and you're like, I don't even have the strength to hold up the air with, you know, I don't have no strength. Going a little deeper, there's a specificness. Now we have to understand, does this person have something specific?
It's about the TV show, got word from them today.
Okay, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because literally it's the TV show that you got word today, a TV show. So you're going to be on TV. Okay, let me ask, is this anxiety? Yes, but there's something else there, something very specific. Have you heard the final word, the written in stone word yet? Or is that where we are? We're waiting for, oh my God, the final word to come in. That's what we need to wait for.
Okay, so
And what is the bone collector? Let's look at this while we're waiting, because we don't have much time. Okay,
Number 1.
if I can find it, maybe I'll have to. Here.
When
It's
the-
a good thing. Okay.
So, when the bone collector appears, she is asking you to look closely at your circumstances to see if you're fully present or reacting out of past conditioning and unconscious expectations.
Okay, now I feel extremely excited. I feel good, but
But
that,
is there a past conditioning about receiving good in your life?
Yes, it is. All right, and they're saying be slow and steady on this, but this reminds of a 2-year-old experience. Oh, look, I'm going to get a pony, and then all of a sudden it goes to your sister. Oh, it goes to your story. It is how your brother had all of these, what do you call it, godparents, and they would have tons of presents to give to their godson, and Scott wasn't the godson. And the next thing you know, he sees all these presents come in the house. He's a little boy, and he's all excited.
And they're going to my brother.
And they went right to the brother. Okay? So there is a part of you that, as the adult, is like, oh, no, everything's fine. Everything's going to be going my way. But the little person in you, the 2.5, they're being very specific, the 2.5-year-old part of you is going, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah. What do you call it? The floor's going to drop out from under you.
Mm-hmm. And even though the adult party is like, no, everything will go smooth, there's still that little person inside of
That's
you
part
that
of
says,
the foundation.
yes. And so I would then tell yourself, oh my God, this person has learned about wounded pride. Wounded pride is like, oh my God, I know I'm doing the right thing. It's just like when I was in softball and I was running from first base to second base. So I got there, I hit, and I got the ball over there. I went to second base. The next person, you know, when they hit the ball, and you look, and if it's good, then you need to run so they can come on to first base. Well, I did the right thing, and I was proud of myself. I leapt off of second, ran real hard to third, but the person in third never left. And the person that had gone from home base to first base, I was stuck to have to be called out. And all the humiliation was on me. To the point I did not know how to handle it. And in your wounded pride, you did something, but yet you are humiliated. This is the experience that they're giving me. And I will tell you, if you feel like you have that anywhere in your past, get rid of it now so it doesn't happen to you. And I will tell you to do hope therapy. Put in there where they can go, Jen. And then you'll do L3S. Okay. Because the anxiety is built up on the fact that your will is paralyzed and it doesn't want to move.
I will type in the link into the chat room because this person's in the chat room.
Yes.
For hope therapy.
2 minutes to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you go to mwreveal.com, go into Healing Tools, look under Hope Therapy. You're going to hold L1S. L is the word left. Number 3 is the number, and BS is soft. So you're going to go hold L3S, and that is to feel how all of a sudden you're withholding. You're not sure if you want to be happy. You feel intimidated. You know, maybe you don't feel efficient enough, or you feel like you're, oh, what should be my next step? Because there's a lot of emotion that's going on, but you have a particular something that's causing you to go, holy shit, where do I go from here? But resolve that so you can feel good. And we're getting down to the wire, folks, and we had another wonderful session of being with you, and love the idea of all the people in the chat room, all the people that are going to be watching YouTube and re-listening. We have things on Tindeck that is wonderful. You go to Tindeck, and I believe it is MWR?
MW Reveal.
MW Reveal.
Is our profile there.
Yes.
And then we've got youtube.com/Medicine Women Reveal, which I've been putting up in the chat room, but that's all spelled out, and we're at the point where we're going to be.
There was a specific question. Is that to us or to somebody else?
We'll get to that. But we have to go right now.
All right, send it off. Goodbye.
Okay, thanks.